Welcome. I want to thank you all for gathering together for the happiest day that Natalie Hoxworth and Natalie Hoxworth have ever experienced to date. The day that they will cease living their lives for their own personal interests and begin a life together as one. You may be seated. Marriage is not an invention of man, with rules and customs that have passed arbitrarily through the minds of doctors and lawyers, authors, poets, and philosophers. It's the gift of the Lord God, lovingly and thoughtfully afforded to the human race, male and female, in order to keep meaning, purpose, joy, and the love of the Creator alive on the earth. The institute of marriage is a holy thing, and it's not to be entered into unadvised. It's a holy thing, a covenant, the most sacred of promises. Natalie and Tyler have fallen in love. They considered the idea of living the rest of their lives without each other. And with the wisdom and counsel of God, they determined that would be a stupid idea. Indeed, God has brought them together. Therefore, knowing that Tyler and Natalie have received extensive counsel, prayed, and committed to enter a life together, I now ask, who is it that gives this woman to be married to this man? Tyler and Natalie, pay attention. I know she's pretty. Tyler and Natalie, you have longed for this day, and you've planned for this day, and you've prepared for this day. But planning for a wedding is not the same as planning for a marriage. I know that you have looked beyond the wedding itself and indeed planned for a marriage. You have desired to begin your wedding ceremony with a covenant of salt. If it is still your desire and intent to enter into the holiest state of matrimony, then you will now begin that covenant as I explain to your guests the significance of the salt covenant. In the ancient days, salt was a valuable commodity. In days of Roman Empire, often soldiers were paid their wages in salt, and this is where the term "is worth his salt" comes from. The Latin word for salt is salarium, where we get the word for salary. In biblical times, salt was often used in the making of covenants. People would often carry a small bag of salt with them because of its practical value. It was a preservative. It had medicinal value to it. And when someone desired to enter into a covenant or an agreement with another person, they would pour an amount of salt from their bag into the other. The other person would do likewise. The bags would be shaken thoroughly, and a statement would be made that just as it would be impossible to return the original grains of salt to their original bags, so it would be impossible for this covenant to be broken. Tyler and Natalie have poured their own individual vials of salt into a container. As it is shaken together in a moment, blending the grains into one permanent mixture, they symbolize their new unbreakable covenant. I'd like you now to please join me beneath the hoop to exchange your wedding vows.